been live. We just haven't said so yet.
Yeah.
How will they know? They can hear us talking, but they haven't said that they're live yet.
Because we're bullies.
They'll never know. We just like to keep them on their toes.
Welcome everyone to the 18th live stream. 180 would be impressive.
You're just trying to get those EQD comment posters. This is actually stream number 81.
Man, if we ever got posted on EQD, that'd be impressive. Although I think you just have to ask and they'll make a post for you generally.
Probably.
Some of my friends have been asking that for a long time and getting not so good luck. So we'd have to see.
Just draw them Trixie.
Just think of how much art we'd have to critique then.
Oh god.
Oh, it'd be like a job. We have adorable voices? No. Those two have adorable voices. I have a manly voice. My voice is manly.
Oh my gosh. Are you a minotaur?
The amount of plushies you hug, you are the cutest family man.
There's 3 plushies sitting within arm's reach right now.
See? Just
Only 3?
Well, the others are all over in the other room. I can't have them on the bed. They're too expensive for that. All right, we're live with the 118th live stream. Today we have Ellie Claw.
Why? It's the Ellie Claw, as always.
And under all that fluff, there's a Fluffy's eye.
Yeah, somewhere under here.
And me, Living Dead. Hi.
The greatest zombie.
Pretty much the only you ever converse with.
You don't know that?
Well, yeah, you don't know that.
Well,
You don't know our life choices.
Last time I heard of you, you weren't hanging around graveyards that often.
I could be a necromancer in my spare time.
Yeah,
I'm
rolling D&D characters all the time. I need to get reference from somewhere.
Well, if you're ever looking for a spontaneous character to wander in, there's always a zombie.
So you're up for hire is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'll be a shopkeeper though. Just a classic NPC shopkeeper. Shows up out of nowhere.
No, you have to be every shopkeeper.
Okay, before we get started, I gotta tell you about the intergalactic shopkeeper that made DMing so easy for me. So players always want to go back to town for stuff, and I just want to get the story going. So I'd have an intergalactic shopkeeper. He would drop ship in to the area, and this is like classic D&D, so we're talking high fantasy stuff. But a spaceship would just crash in the ground in front of them, and this gnomish character would just roll out and have everything they were looking for.
Oh my god.
This is my favorite shopkeeper.
That is awesome.
He would also steal stuff from
Tingle.
them. Like Tingle.
Welcome to MLPDS, so we talk crazy and go on huge tangents.
We never can keep us straight.
Yeah, that's us.
This whole conversation is so creative. It's it's just
it's
boosting your
important.
art flow.
It's important.
It's important.
So
GMing's an art.
So as our top banner says, and as the Fluffy's eye in the bottom corner says, feel free to send us your art if you have anything you would like.
You still have that.
It's going to remain at the bottom. I think we need more. We need one saying, feel free to ask any questions.
Oh yes, we need an Alley Claw.
Alley Claw speech bubble.
Yep. Yeah.
Someone get on this. We needed a transparent PNG. I expect a picture done by the end of the stream.
Oh god. What about you, Samsung? What are you gonna tell the world?
I'm going to be under the stream. About 6 feet under it.
No. I think you should be off to the left side, just lounging with a drink and shades. It's perfect. It's perfect.
That sounds about right. Just on the cell phone.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go over the first one. The top left-hand corner always works.
Alrighty.
It's a rarity, so Allie is immensely interested.
I do love me my rah.
Yes.
So,
Slightly,
so this one is posted by Aperture Explorer, and it says, deleted this because I was embarrassed at the eraser marks I couldn't get out. The only one by her horn looked like shading, which didn't work with my light source. Edited the marks a bit digitally. Sorry for the wonky close-up line work. I would like advice on critique and shading and expression.
You're
There's a
like
little bit more
real
in the
picky about
comments.
your own stuff, I will say.
Mm-hmm. Those are some...
You're very high self-standard.
Yes, and there was a little bit more they said in the comments. Is basically talking about what to do next, how to add the body, what to correct.
Ah.
Doing a position, doing this pose with this position. Front-facing pony, all that fun stuff.
Well, I think we have an answer for it. It's been the answer for pretty much everything. Those references, yo. Crack them out.
Oh,
Yeah.
Turn on the
We
TV show.
always love the references.
Go to Derpy
It's our
Bureau.
jam.
Go to Pony Reference Bureau. We have one. It's still up there.
Sorry.
Well, no, there's a Pony Reference Bureau.
Yeah, actually, that actually is a thing. I thought you were
Yes.
joking.
No, it is.
Why have I not found this before?
Well,
It's pretty much like a catalog of screenshots.
yeah.
Because I actually used Derpy Boy for that anyway.
We made it for MLPDS and then it sort of went to the wayside because no one
Ah.
updated it.
Okay.
But it has like 2,000 images in it, so that's a pretty good list of images.
Just need to get it updated.
Totally. Yeah, so grab your references. Take your reference, put it beside it, grab a few. A few are a lot better than one. And you're gonna create like a mural of references, and then you're gonna get down to business and defeat those Huns.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no. Defeat the picture. There you go.
Fight the power.
But yeah.
The other thing I'll talk about is that I know you're talking about adding a body. I'm gonna say this from the get-go. Plan out the entire anatomy from the beginning, or else something can end up kind of wonky. You're kind of like Frankensteining parts together till they work. So when you like do yourself a sketch, oh, the head's gonna be here, and the neck, and body circle, and maybe the other body circle's there, and it's like, oh yeah, ponies, friendship. But yeah, don't be afraid to sketch, and don't be afraid of not being able to erase your lines. That is the last thing you need to worry about, because when you're sketching something, and I know when you want to get something clean, there are steps you take. But if it's your first time doing it, don't expect it to be clean. Like, you need to give yourself that time to mess up. You're allowed to do it wrong, and that's how you do it right, because you keep seeing how it's wrong, and you correct yourself, and you practice,
Yeah.
And,
Oh, sorry, you finish.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, if you are worried about like being destructive to your art, like if every little line you're like, but it's gonna ruin it, like you can, like, digital is great for that, because you get so much control over what you do and like layering everything. But it's honestly like Ali is saying, it is a good thing to just get used to doing things messily, and if you do something wrong, you can draw it again, and then you're gonna be it's going to be easier to draw it the next time. Even if it feels painful, you're just going to get used to it, and then drawing will be a lot easier and more fluent for you.
Yeah, and this is a very common thing with artists. Artists like to be perfectionists a lot of the time, from beginner to master. Some people can get past it, some stick with it all their lives. It's a lot of pressure. You want to do it right, but like any skill, it takes time to do it right. You just don't shoot a basketball hoop your first time. You gotta know how to shoot, or practice, or do it a few times. It's not the end of the world if you miss. You just go pick up the ball and shoot again.
Exactly. I do sort of like how your sketch sort of came out. Like you got a nice sort of combination of like messy areas and like sort of clean open areas. But you don't really need to worry too much about making sketches super clean. Like, they can be messy.
I think the big thing that's hurting you with all this detail is you're probably sketching very small. Like,
yeah, it looks like
very
it just in a
tiny.
photo, but
Because I can see the grain of your paper. So if you want to do detail like this, because this is really nice, and I feel like if you gave yourself more room, you could pull off what you wanted to pull off. Just, it's hard.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, smaller is good for for proportions and perspective, which is why it's good to thumbnail in nice little small doodles just to sort of work out the composition of the picture. But larger is good for detail. So like if you go super big, like a trap I see a lot of people, myself included, when starting out first drawing, they draw their first like anime girl or something, and like they use like the entire page, and then you got like tiny bangs or whatever, you like little spiky bits of the fringe at like super tiny, little jagged lines, and like it's like because like the body's the wrong size, and it would look different if they draw it small because like they can't yet understand the proportions and perspective of like the size they're drawing on, which is why it's important to draw little thumbnailing stuff first. But you can only go so far with drawing super tiny because you don't have much space to work with. What is that?
That is a cute pencil case, being all sorts of cute. And firing up the cute generators.
And I had something else, but I'm not talking continuously. Does anyone else? You guys have anything?
So they did say they're having issues erasing lines. You want to erase those lines a bit easier? Use a lighter pencil. I assume right now you're just using your standard old HB pencil. You got this big gradient of hardness and softness. If you use a harder pencil, it will erase a lot easier because it's not going to lay down as much graphite onto your paper. It's going to be a lot easier to pull up with an eraser. It's going to be a lot lighter, but that just means you lay down that as your undersketch and then go at it with a harder pencil later to refine those lines.
Yeah. Every time, what I've started doing digitally now when I draw is instead of like having the, unless I'm just doing a really quick doodle, I'll like do the whole circles and lines and plus signs and things, to get the skeleton out. But then I was like, I'll just actually drawing on another layer.
Sorry, one sec. I'm muting her. Sorry.
Yeah. Draw it on one layer, then like lower the opacity, and then draw the actual detail and everything on the next layer. And what you could do with sketching is exactly what Aldi said. Using a light pencil, that's basically the equivalent. Because then you've got a super light undersketching that you can erase easily. And I mean, sometimes with drawing traditionally, you can just like sort of gently dab an eraser over stuff, and just because you can erase the super light lines really easily, and then just go back over the thicker ones, and you can sort of clean it that way.
Kneaded erasers, man.
Yeah.
Those kneaded erasers are great.
I haven't tried those before.
Actually, watch out for kneaded erasers. Well, they do a pretty cool job of picking up lead. They aren't actually they aren't the best. Your white erasers, I find, always work better. Kneaded erasers are just great because you can fit them into weird shapes and angles. And you get to play with them.
Yeah, I like them.
I kind of imagine them smudging easily, but is that just me?
No.
It depends. See, I like using them most for my undersketching phase. Like, I'll get my undersketch done, and maybe it's too dark, and literally I'll just roll the kneaded eraser around on it to get it lightened up. That's all I needed to do. Like, for the cleanup stuff, yeah, definitely hard erasers will get you those hard edges better than a kneaded eraser. You use what tools work for you. Try them, play with them. There's no wrong tool. Believe me, I've painted with a feather duster.
Did you really?
Yeah, it's a technique called sklapishka, and I am not kidding.
Wow.
You have to find the picture you painted. I want to see what that looks like.
It's probably in the basement somewhere.
Go find it.
It's really good at making bushes.
Making bushes.
Nice.
All right.
Sounds cool. From the master artist to Ali Clark.
I wouldn't say that.
Look, hey, you got hair poofier than Bob Ross. You're on your way there.
Oh, that's all it takes.
Yeah, it's all in the fluff, okay. But yeah, I want to.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the only thing I want to say, I'm just like, I do really like what you've got here. Like, this is a very elegant drawing. I'm sort of thinking, what is the expression that you're going for? Like, I can't really tell what exactly the emotion is here. Like, her face is very elegant. Like, you got such a great level of detail in this, where you can see like how the curvatures in the face go, like the bottom lip and like where the eyebrows are between the brows and the eyes and stuff. great stuff there, but it's I'm sort of like I can't really tell exactly what emotion she's putting forward, and that's pretty much what the expressions are. It's for portraying thought and emotion. So I would say, look up different expression sheets, try sort of doodling out, like think you could like just have one particular thing you're trying to draw, and just think of that emotion, think of that feeling, and then just doodle little faces and expressions on the side of your paper. Pick ones that you like, and then just go off that and sort of convert it to what you're doing. And you could try doing something more cartoony. First, you could maybe try just as like a little side drawing before you do the main one. You could try drawing something really exaggerated or something a little bit more plain and subtle after that, because like we said before, do the exaggerations and then you can pull back into subtleties and it'll work a lot better. And that might help you doing something cartoon, even though it's doing something cartoony, it might help you make your main drawings work, because you'll have that foundation of like how to show that like emotion within the character. Adding close little faces at the side here.
All right. Shall we move on to the next one then?
Let's do it.
Let us skedaddle. And again, I gotta say, like, it's really nice work. Like, you have it. You know some things. Make it bigger. Let yourself mess up. You got this.
So we moving on one to the right.
Yes, we are.
So immediately.
Tall girl.
Yes, I mean, there are a good few things I think you could sort of make more efficient with this drawing. The first thing that jumps out to me is the hair. I'm thinking, how is this flowing? Because if we look at like how this is going as a shape, it kind of does this, and I don't really know exactly how that works. It doesn't really have the kind of flow that hair has. Like this kind of just disappears. This just goes nowhere. And then this is kind of coming out from somewhere, but we don't really see where it's coming out from. We can't work it out with our brain, because really with hair, you got like this one point, and then everything is flowing from that point, like a river. And we've talked about sort of manes and hairs and stuff on this show quite a bit. I think Aliclaw's usually very good at expressing it. Yes. But it's all about flowiness, and I sort of don't really get that from this main. It's also just noticed the extreme angle that the sketchbook is at, but we'll do our best despite the perspective. Or is it kind of a bad thing that this bottom one here actually looks in proper perspective, even given the sketchbook? Because this one I can see clearly is like tilted to the side.
Yeah, they had some scanning issues, they said.
Yeah, it's like, what would this look like if it was if the image was straight? But yeah, I mean the legs as well, I think, is a thing. They're not bad, but they're very stiff. You've got stiff logs here for legs, and that's not what they need to be. The pony legs are very soft and curved. I mean, it's something I've said before. One of the reasons why MLP is popular and why it was such an immediate like something people could adore is because it's eye candy. And one of the reasons for that, as someone who studied graphic design, is like the use of lines. That there's hardly any straight jagged lines in ponies, hardly anything at all. Especially, I mean, the like early promo stuff, they had some like jagged issues, but like the actual show, they are super curvy and soft, because that makes you think, yeah, it's nice and it's comfortable. So the legs especially are one of the nicest little parts. You got this nice little curve here into the little hoofsies, and it has this nice little gentle curve back up, and it's thicker at the bottom than it is at the top usually. Just that's how it goes. And usually the front legs, I think, sort of curve forward like this, but obviously it depends on the position as they're like walking and stuff. I mean, I can see obviously you've got that curve in there already, but the back legs are very stiff, so you just want to make those match the front legs, because you've got a bit of that curve in there already. Just want to make that match, get the back legs to have that curve. Otherwise, you've actually got like the proportions of the legs equal. A lot of the time we get art and it's like, oh, these front legs are like okay, but then the back legs are super short or something like that. Which, to be fair, is usually for like the lying down poses and stuff like that. But you've got the proportions pretty good, I think. It's just a matter of balancing everything and making everything feel a little bit more sort of mathematically aligned. If that makes any sense. I feel like this body might actually be a bit too high up. Let me just experiment.
It's interesting that their body height changes throughout the pictures, but they did say they're just trying to develop the character, so that makes sense.
Yeah, it's perfectly acceptable to be like, I'm focusing on the design here, not on making perfect drawings. That's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect little horsies.
Don't know quite where this people supposed to go, but whatever. And this belly, this chest bulges quite a bit, so let's shave the chest in. And I've drawn this like underbelly here, even though you're only really seeing a tiny part of it. Again, you might change the mane. I would recommend changing the mane, and so you might have more of the body revealed. So I'm just drawing this anyway. But it's always good to draw what you're not seeing. Because otherwise you're not going to end up accidentally making something wrong just because you can't see parts of it. Also, the horn kind of just comes straight out of the mane. You do like a nice little curvy curve or something. Oh, here's a nice little mane curve, and then you have like a bit of a horn. Got like a nice curvy horn.
The best thing I can recommend for making a pony hairstyles yet, like, yes, some of these pony hairstyles make no sense whatsoever in the show.
Yeah,
It's just they look pretty.
Mhm.
But to help you design like hairstyles, I'd say look at as many OCs as you can. Look at actual people styling their hair. Look at horse hair. Look at, you know, any animal with like a mane can kind of give influence, but there is definitely a flow to the hair, even the crazier styles.
Yeah. I mean, this here at the side is a lovely example. It's I mean, the manes, the tails, everything is a collection of super long strands of hair that are all collected into bunches and bundles and flow like cloudy rivers. So it's not gonna like be super rigid or, I mean, like Callie said, some of the main styles don't make much sense, but I think that's because the way they do them in the show, they are trying to interpret a certain thing. Like if you look at Pinkie Pie's hair, like yeah, like the way it goes, it's like, oh, you got this bounce here and it goes like this. It doesn't make a super amount of sense, not in this flowy way that we're talking about. But that's because it's meant to represent just sort of like curliness and the way it flows and curls and bounces and stuff. And you can kind of get that impression from looking at the mane. And same goes for the others as well. A lot of the ones that don't look super flowy is because they're trying to interpret something in kind of an artistic, simplified, cartoony way. So it's all about trying to figure out what it is you're trying to represent. I mean, you seem to have something going where you want to have it sort of like lead into like a thicker part at the bottom, and there'll probably be other ways to do that. Like maybe you could do the Pinkie Pie method and have sort of like more of a bulge here, so it implies that your hair sort of curls like this. You know, so have those MLP implications in. Or if you don't want something super bouncy like Pinkie Pie, then there are other things you can do. But there are certain laws of physics that hair should abide by. Don't believe everything anime tells you.
But Spike, it's hair, Super Saiyan.
Oh yeah, I was thinking like Final Fantasy stuff, but no, Dragon Ball Z as well.
Everyone gets spikes straight up in the air.
Yes. The more spiky your hair is, you know, the more powerful you are. Like clearly Yu-Gi-Oh is compensating for something.
All right, we're ready to move on to the next one then?
Sure am.
All right. We just keep up with the tradition of scrolling on over. Oh, there's a fluff monster.
Basketball fluff monster.
Is this the sunset?
This is a sunset. So this picture...
I saw the canvas and I'm just like, one of these things is not like the other.
is by K3NN the Kenneth the Cute 123. Anyway,
Whatever that
Sunset
name
Shimmer.
was, you're awesome.
Yeah, this is a very well rendered picture.
I'm just, what do they want us to critique? I think her skin kind of looks a little bit on the sort of like desaturated side, but that's about all I can think of.
There was
Put
one thing
some
that's on
life
that
in
I
that
were talking
nose
about at the beginning, and she's
Uh-huh.
doing it right now.
That neck is really long. That's my first piece of critique on this one. That when you see how long that neck actually is, you can't look away from it. So I'd shorten up the neck. I noticed when going through your gallery to see what else you had made, because damn fine art. The rest of the necks all appear to be a lot shorter, so this one might have just got the giraffositis. It's a rare disease that happens when you travel between portals.
Yeah, you know, teenagers.
Teenagers, them and their weird growth spurts.
I mean, that's the only big thing I have critique on. I love the hair, nice flow, nice texture to everything. I like how it feels like there's detail. It's like that nice render. It has good texture to it.
Now the horse face normally looks.
Okay.
Keep it in
Growing a
case. I
beard.
love this masterpiece. This is the true masterpiece right here.
Really do love how the hair is rendered with multiple strokes of different intensity. You can see they've used a block brush for chunks up, like, oh, okay, how about if I use red on red? That works. For like up here, they've used a block to go through it just because you can see where it overlaps here. But then they've used some finer ones for little fragments like this dude over here, and this dude over here. You can see, oh, they even have a texture in the brush to pull off some of that. Obviously started with a larger canvas and scaled it out way down. I would be interested to know what size of canvas they're using to start, because it's almost a shame that it's scaled down so much.
A lot of the time I see that with pictures, like they're just really good, and they're on like a 200 by 300 canvas. It's like, what are you doing?
I really do love that hair though. I also like the pop
Super
you
nice.
get with like the dark underside.
Yeah, very nice. And you can
Brings
see
her
it.
face.
Yes, definitely.
And good choice to do the shirt color the same as the eye color.
Yeah,
Limits your
pop
palette,
neck.
but makes it work well. What else do I got going on here? It is odd because of how dark it is inside the hair, like this hair in particular over here. We have this very lit up face, but with that darkness inside it. I understand you're trying to drive hard contrast, but we could almost up the brightness a bit in there just to give a reason to have that reflected light that's bouncing around. Because right now it's like light has been pulled into a black hole under her mane hair. Not mane. She's not a horse.
You're too used to it.
Little nitpicks. It's really nicely done.
Yeah.
By the way, in case you haven't seen our stream before, please don't take the fluff seriously. That's just what we do. We fluff everything. Everything has to be fluffy.
No, it's
But you don't actually have to do that.
100% legit.
Give Sunset a beard.
Oh, you heard a CPC.
Would she have a red and yellow beard?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bacon beard.
Wait, okay, we are not allowed to continue this conversation.
Oh no. Alright.
Next picture before we go off the rails.
It's beautiful. Ignore our silliness. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, it's true. Oh my gosh, what's going on?
There's an
Oh my
alien
gosh.
coming in the
Intergalactic shopkeeper. Oh. Let's do
That's amazing.
CPC sneaking pictures.
Oh, I thought it was the intergalactic shopkeeper that stole from the characters, not the other way around.
Maybe a little of both.
Maybe both.
All right, and the last picture we have given to us, hint, hint, people who want art critiqued, hint, is
Obey the tiny spirit wind.
obey him. He's gonna make squeaky sounds at you.
Oh my god. Tried.
This picture is by Slipheadex. Yes, Slipheadex.
I don't know. I was talking to them earlier.
And it's my first pony drawing for sharing. Happy face. Crits welcome. All right, so we score nat 20.
We're in D&D mode now. So like I see you got like the lovely like undersketching here, which we earns you many points with us. But it doesn't look like you've really followed it much. Like you got this part here, that's good, but then it's like the leg kind of cuts straight into it there. And I understand that's kind of how it sometimes looks for the show style, but you could afford to have like a little bit more of a bend in there just to stuff. And I understand like the base guide is just a guide. You can easily sort of say it's more like this. You don't have to 100% obey your undersketching or die. You know, it's all just there to help you figure out the rest of it. But just that looked like it cut quite sharp into the body there. So I feel like, oh yeah, and the back leg, I'm terrible at legs, especially the back leg. So this is with a grain of salt. But like I don't think this looks like how it's supposed to be when it's lifting up. If you look at them in the show, just to draw on the front here, they actually super like tuck it in, like right behind them at this like extreme angle here, when they're lifting it up. I assume that she's like lifting up there anyway, because yeah, the otherwise if that leg was at the back, it would make this exactly this. What was that CPC?
Yeah, that was CPC.
We're both using pink.
I don't think they're lifting the leg up. I think it's just standing.
Because initially I thought she was standing or sort of walking this way, and I was like, she's gonna step on Gummy. Because there's this line here, this horizon line on the bottom that they've done, and that sort of sets it for me that it's just looking straight flat on. In which case, this leg should be right down on the ground as well. And also the hooves should be as well. They shouldn't go up like that.
Mm-hmm. And if they are walking, like I could be wrong. To me, it looks like it's just a standing pose.
Yeah. But... if they are walking, I literally the other day it was just like I started to draw along, and then not 1 minute in, I'm just like, how do you do pony walk cycles? I'm just not having a good time with it. But yeah, they can be hard. Even looking up references, it can be hard. So God forbid doing it without references. You know, it's Celestia save you if you're trying to do it without references. Look up pony walking on W or like, what was it pony reference Boru we were talking about?
Pony reference Boru.
Or watch your favorite episode and pause it.
Yeah. I actually did that once. I think I was trying to get reference to Starlight, and I could not find her from a particular angle that I was trying. It was like she severely has the magically switching directions main syndrome that a lot of them have. So I was trying to find the actual. This is what she looks like from the other way around. And I had to. I think I went to the one where she's in Canada with Celestia and Luna, and I just used that one. I went through it until I found a particular scene and pause. It can be very helpful to just find your own reference if you know an episode where that character might be in. It's just there's a lot of episodes and a lot of seasons to look through. But yeah, if they are standing here and assuming that the leg is corrected and put right down on the bottom, that was terrible. Ignore that. But you know, if the leg was like down where it's supposed to be, then we still sort of have the issue of like we're seeing her third quarter, and like there really should be a perspective box here. So I think the issue here is the horizon on the bottom, which may just be a guide that they were using to like line up the hooves, but Gummy's walking directly on it, so I'm not sure if that's the case.
Well, CBC drew that in.
Oh no! Oh, she drew Gummy in. Okay, I thought that was part of the original picture. I'm sorry. It was there before we got to it, so I thought it was the original. Okay. But yes, okay, so that's one confusion out of the way. So then it's just like, work out before you go into a picture where the perspective of your character is. And like make a little plane for them to sit on like that. And and then make sure that no alligators get graffitied in to throw off our vision of the perspective of the picture. But otherwise, I mean, it's very, very cute. Very, very cute.
So I got a little thing. You're working digital. Extend that canvas. There's no reason why that hair should be cut off.
Totally.
That's my little thing.
Don't know how to
Be
do
afraid
it?
to-
It's pretty easy. You go
Yeah,
edit
you
canvas, and you can, or yeah, you can just move your picture. You know, whichever one works.
Yeah, it's always an annoying thing. It's like, basically, you want to have like, there's no reason to deliberately cut off a side of your picture. So if you're sort of running out of canvas size, yeah, just extend it. I've always done that where like I've gone through an entire picture and I'm like, I can't really be bothered. It looks nice with this composition. I'm messing this up. And then I get to the end and it's like, I wish I had extended it. Now I don't want to do it and have to go through every layer and extend. It's like, I should have just done it to begin with. Oh, her ear is like coming right out of like the top of her eye, which should be like back here.
Whoa, whoa,
So
whoa!
you
How'd I
move
miss
that
the ears?
Yeah, I just only just now got it.
Fluffy's
Yeah.
eye, you've saved me. An embarrassment of missing ears. Thank you, I appreciate it.
I mean, additionally in sort of like general face balancing, I think the eyes are very close together. They kind of tilt very much inwards at the top, whereas like the pony eyes kind of, a lot of the time, especially with Pinkie Pie, have this oval that tilts outwards like this. But bear in mind that the distance between the eyes is the bridge of the nose, and you don't want them super close together because they shouldn't. Their depth perception will be all over the place. You know, they got to have a little bit of distance between their eyes. Not too much. You don't need to be too buggy, but just spread them out a little bit.
So one little thing I have is you've made your chest really, really big. If you look at MLP proportions, usually it's the head is probably one of the bigger parts of the pony because you know we love those cute big eyes and God knows how
Yes.
those eyes fit in those skulls, but we don't mention it. And then the chest is actually usually the smallest circle out of making your pony undersketching. So I mean it's not puny, but it's gonna be smaller than the head and smaller than the butt. Right now you have the chest you pretty much have it head's the biggest, chest is the second biggest, and butt is the smallest. It's kind of more like you go from like big to medium back to big again. That way you get that lovely pony bump up that we have with those characters. It gets that nice bean shape.
All about the bean.
Yeah, bean.
She's a horse who loves her candy. Jelly beans. Just remember the jelly beans.
Jelly beans.
And if you need a reference, go out and buy 10,000 jelly beans and you get a
Okay.
snack while drawing horses.
Don't let them die. But yeah, just my little drawing to the sides. Of course, exaggerated. Quick little boop, but just a little thing, you know? Head circles. They make the world go circle.
Very much. I'm butchering this. I feel like there was a curve missing from the leg here. I always struggle at this like under part of the leg here. That's always my weakness.
It can be pretty annoying.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's something about getting the curve right. It's just ugh.
Well, you do make rubbery ponies though, like it's very very bony and stiff. Your ponies are fluffy and cute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like plushies. All right. Anyone else have any art they'd like to submit to us? Because if
Those
not,
chibis are adorable CPCs.
oh my gosh, that beard.
Did that actually happen? Hold on. Go up. Oh my god, that's crazy. So she just got those bacon crisps and just stuck into her face.
I'm afraid to go look.
Go look, go look, go look, go look. Do it, do
It's
it.
beautiful. It's like a sunrise on her chin.
Jesus.
Yes.
It's the perfect facial hair because it just looks like a sunrise or a sunset.
Uh,
See?
All right, so we've got no submissions. That was a total of 2 minutes. That's usually long enough. So we're going to call it a week. Thank you all for joining us. And as you know, wait. Oh,
what?
CPC.
Oh.
Ooh.
I'm holding on to the edge of my seat.
We're okay. 1 second's up. What do we do now?
We dance.
But I can't do that.
Oh, you can bust a move. Do the worm.
You can dance if you want to.
You can leave your friends behind.
But I don't.
And if you don't dance, then no friends of mine.
You can flag if you want to. I don't know what I'm doing. You usually know what you're doing because you're the fluffy case, like a cute pencil fluff.
Are you trying to give us a picture?
What should be after the image? What image?
What are you trying to do?
We're waiting on your picture.
Oh, I think she means she's supposed to send one, and then I don't know what I'm doing. Was supposed to come after the image, maybe, but the image didn't send.
Okay.
I've had a lot of my messages in Discord like taking a few seconds to go through, and then sometimes they just like don't send, and I have to resend them. And it's like, what?
Discord's magical like that.
I usually don't have a problem with it.
We're just going to turn on the waiting music. That usually helps.
Oh, I think we just got to wait because Keepin's case is now back in Nottingham, and I don't think she has very good internet in her dorm. So
Yeah.
I think she's waiting for her picture to send. To be fair, she also uses pretty huge canvases, like me. In fact, even bigger than me, I think.
You
And
could.
I have pretty big canvases, and I think she trumps me.
We have to sacrifice for the picture. It's our only hope.
Maybe it's like part of doing cute and fluffy. Like the fluffier your creatures become, the larger canvas you need to store all that fluff.
That makes sense. The math checks out.
Yeah, I was hoping someone would do the math for me. /r, they did the math. Oh no, KT, the music's about to end.
The waiting music only waits for so long.
We started again. Upload it to Imgur or something. Oh, she backed out.
Oh no, she dropped.
Tell her to
I
upload
lost
it to
her.
anywhere
Internet cannot
else.
It could not take. Or to be fair, maybe her dropping out will give her a little bit of a better connection to send the image once she comes back. Just got to see if she. Oh no, she's back in the call. Hello.
Everyone just needs gigabit internet. I think that's the solution here.
Yeah, I need to share some of mine with CBC. Mine's pretty good. I will send you some of my data.
Are you just gonna like box it up? Send it DM?
Yes,
Send it via...
I will download some of my internet into a box and send it. There's
like,
so many
you know-
absurdities in that sentence.
Listen, if you need some more RAM, you downloaded it. You need some more internet, you just download it.
Just like download my existing thing into like a physical form somehow, even though that's not what downloading is.
I come from the net through systems.
I think I know how the internets work.
Wait, it's not a
So
song.
she's resized it and it's still not sending.
A ruh-roh.
How big did you make it? Oh, disconnected. Oh, there it is. We see it. That is a cute face. I like it much.
Yeah.
Is that a Drider girl? That is cute.
Is it a what girl?
A Drider, like a spider girl.
Oh,
That's what it looks like.
resize an
Yo, what
image.
up?
Was not
Something
expecting
about
that.
how
Very
to train
creative.
your dragon. I'm excited.
Hmm?
Randomly out of context thing, I just got sent a tweet saying that there's a new How to Train Your Dragon thing happening.
Ooh,
What?
I'm hyped. I'm excited. I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna share.
nice.
Can you feel the
Yeah.
hype tonight?
So, yeah. So to CPC, having trouble drawing spiders and needing help. Yes, they are very tricky. I have drawn spider people a couple times, and I have actually like looked up the reference and done the research. In fact, at one point I was curious to see if the different, because I was certain that the different pairs of legs, like the front ones and the middle ones and the back ones, would have different names, but they don't. So I was like randomly researching spiders on Wikipedia at some point, but yeah, so it is something to get used to. I've not drawn fluffy ones before, which is contradictory to my usual fluffy nature. But yeah, that's the thing. Firstly, you might want to have some front ones, maybe. I see that done a lot of time. They will have like little front legs, just to sort of balance out this area at the front here. I think it's a very similar sort of thing. It goes down, up, down, and I think they have like a little foot. So it's typical. It's typically not too hard to figure out like the direction they go in. I think what I struggled with is the same thing you're struggling with, which is like how to get that curve in, because you've got. I see you've like tried, but it just kind of doesn't look right. Again, I haven't really drawn fluffy ones before, because the way I've done it before is sort of like segments of armor. Like I'll have like this section here sort of cut off, and it'll just go like this, and then this one kind of almost like bones in a way. But I don't know how to sort of translate that into fluffiness, unless you use this as a literal skeleton and then put fluff on top of it, which is pretty much what you do this entire stream all the time. So that could work. That way, at least that might help you get the sort of shape in. As for like the positioning, I don't know about like actual spiders. When I'm drawing like spider people, I like to have a particular kind of. Let's see if I can. Yeah, something like that. Like if you're looking side on. And there's person's head. That may not even. Oh yeah, I think that's right. And then you have like the front legs. I don't know if that's entirely right. That's just like how I do it. I like to have this sort of like it's the way it sort of goes further back and further back in its like angle. But that's just me.
Do you
Oh,
when you do when you do yours, do an extra set of legs up top Fluffy's eye? So like arms? Sorry, I mean not legs.
I think I don't. I haven't before, but literally the thing that I've been showing in the art channel when we were talking about vectors and stuff, I have used like the front legs. But usually I don't. But I think it's up to interpretation, right? Because they got arms, so it's like that gives them 8 limbs. So it's like, what I've actually seen, because I started seeing a couple like OCs and stuff, and the way I've seen something kind of creatively used, which I think is also in like the Spider Girl character in Monster Musume, and I've seen a couple of people's OCs do this as well. It's like they have they have the legs of the character at the front, however the hell legs are supposed to look. I'm not used to drawing humans, okay, but then so if this is the character's abdomen, we've got the legs here. Those legs will go down as if they're just normal legs, and then they kind of have this like section where they become like the front spider legs. So the front arm thingies kind of are their like human legs, if that makes any sense, which is a little bit weird, and I've not really tried it that way myself, but I thought it was kind of a creative idea, and I think it certainly gives an idea to get this sort of like front portion set up. I can share the Drider thing, the spider girl that I've made, but I don't know if it's I don't know if it's good. It's just like it was the second time I drew it and learned more from the first time I drew it. So it was like my second attempt and having more practice and doing a better job kind of thing. If I can just I need to search for it. I have too much art. most of which, like 90% of which, it just hasn't been finished. No. No. Wrong folders. I will say I love this character's face. Her head, her fluffy hair, everything is just so freaking cute. Have I missed any? Super fluffy spider. Her name is Poof. That is amazing. Oh yeah, I was gonna actually be like, okay, so like the side legs should, you should have a leg kind of like, or some of them sort of being a little bit visible here, and then sit back. I don't know. It just looks a little bit like the legs are sort of a bit too far back because you can't see them at the front there. I don't know. This is my pictures are pretty huge, so I'm just gonna have to shrink this down. It may look a little bit blurry, but let's. Bleh. This is probably my most successful one. Even then, I think there's stuff that I didn't do very well, like the way the sort of front portion of the body doesn't really sit right. But I don't know. That's an example of how I figured it out anyway.
Dang, that spider's got a bunch of junk in her trunk.
And just fluff. I see. I have some fluff on them, just not the legs usually.
Dat spinneret, yo. I do find it weird how far forward the body is. Like, it seems like it would end up not being balanced without the legs moving forward.
Exactly what I was going for. But you verbalized it in a much more coherent way.
That's my job.
Yeah, so I think it's just about the balancing of the legs, which is why it's sort of maybe bring some a little bit further forward, or you can have for these front legs, you can have like the super tall one. I mean, you wouldn't want to like cut off the cute parts you've already drawn, but they could actually go on the floor as well. I don't think that's actually a thing. I don't think that's what spiders look like. But it's sort of just about balancing the center of gravity. She's a rogue. Keepin's case, I've got to get you to make this character as an actual one in my RPG, because spider people are a thing. They are one of the main races. One of the like 17 different races. Yeah, is there anything you're specifically wondering?
I want to see the spider.
Oh, she's typing.
Tippy tap tap.
I want to see the spider wield the sword in every appendage. Just. Awesome. Glad to be of assistance, although it was mostly Fluffy's eye. So you can give him the high hug.
You're just like, glad I could help and do all the work.
I'm telling you, he's got his shades on. He's awesome.
I wear my sunglasses at night.
But yeah, we gotta, once I get more stuff with Kieran sorted, I gotta get that Ali Claw Harpy character and CPC spider character made. And I'll have a Naga and we'll go on our fantasy adventures.
There's gonna be so much fluff in that campaign.
I gotta do more like monster designs. Those are fun.
Listen, we'll never get lost. We can just follow our hairballs back.
Yeah, I would just move the front ones forward a little bit. Even just turning them forward might do the job. Although, I mean, spiders grip with their feet, so it could just be doing a lot of work on the back ones.
But yeah, that little side bit you drew here, where it's like with only the 3 legs, because you wanted to count the arms towards the limbs. That works. Like where you've got the legs, that works. That's fine. That's more balanced. Okay, I think that's the problem. I still so 8. So to move the 3 and yeah. Teach me to feel the crit. Yeah, I'll teach you how to understand the craziness. Hopefully my one's less crazy. I know Ali's seen a template I made a while back. I don't like the traditional like D&D character sheets. I always write my own on Google Docs, and they're a lot easier just to take in information, even if you have to do a little bit more scrolling.
They're also very pretty.
Laid out.
Pretty. All right. Anyone else have any art they'd like to submit? Any questions they'd like to ask? And as a reminder, we have our contest. How fluffy is a fluff? Whoever gets the closest answer to the fluff answer wins a fluff.
Fluff to the infinity power.
Close, but no cigar.
Dang it.
No, there is no contest, Shadowkick. I'm just joking.
Just being silly.
Silly.
All right, well, with that, let's call it a day. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you this time next week.
Yeah.
For the 119th.
Bye.
Bye. Fluffy side.
Bye.
Yeah.